You know, I sit here thinking, like, after recording the video, I'm like, damn, I stuttered a lot in this one. Oh, well, I'm sure it'll turn out just fine. Hello, keyholders, my name is BrokeRDM, and welcome back to another episode of Our Life in the Top 250 series. Today we are going to be going into Library and Ghost for the DLC of this game, so without further ado, let's get straight into it as I am excited to continue this game. So I had to clear my throat. Every year, the Sunset Bird Memorial Library held a summer reading program. Your moms and Lizzie were big fans of it. Mom and Mommy because it encouraged reading, and Lizzie because she could win prizes. When it came to what you thought of having to read a bunch of books, and then going to the library with a competitive Lizzie... I loved reading books, but going to the library with competitive sister, I loved it. Each time had been one of the highlights of your summer. Your mom still brought up the first time when you shyly made her a thank you card for letting you participate. You and Lizzie went with Shallow before, and this year you brought Cove too. His dad had been so over the moon about Cove being included that he'd driven all four of you. You had never been in Cove's dad's car before. It seemed a lot shinier than your mom's. Probably because it's new. After herding the group inside, Mr. Holden gave you all a wide wave with the arm that has a stingray on it. This one. Have fun, kids. Stay inside of the librarians, you hear? I wish I could watch you in action, but your poor old dad has to finish up some work. I got it. Though I'm sure that won't get in the way. Heck, I'd probably hold you kids back. There's pointedly no reply from his son over what was likely meant as only a joke. Cove's dad seems to deflate a bit. I'll swing around again when this shindig... Oh, I almost thought that said, like, shining. I was like, what? Shindig ends. Yeah, you can go home now. You don't have to throw me out the door. Your sister, already in full competition mode, cut him off. For once, Cove looked grateful she was there. Come on! We have to go find a table, Mr. Holden. You can talk to Cove after, when we win. Okay. See you in about an hour. Have fun. Say that already? My advanced age is really catching up to me now. Bye. Bye, Dad. Bye, son. The four of you watched him shuffle out of the library, glancing over his shoulder at Cove more than once. Bye. Bye, Mr. Holden. Thank you for bringing us. Thanks, Lizzie. I don't know what you're thanking me for. Are you copying Shallow? Distracted, Cove was already glancing around the gigantic library. I want to go explore. What? I said I want to go look around and see what's in here. But the quiz starts soon. That's why we came. Right at the first sight of conflict, Shallow's eyes darted between Lizzie and Cove. And you can do it without me, right? You don't need a bunch of people. Didn't your dad say to stay with the librarians? You shouldn't go somewhere by yourself. Cove leveled an unimpressed stare at the both of them, then his eyes met yours. Hey! Why are you looking at her? Aura's with us. Aura can come if she wants. God, I don't want to have to keep placing Lizzie's head on you. God, the quiz would be interesting, but... Frick. Okay, so I wanted to kind of express my thoughts here. So I love Lizzie. Like, Lizzie, I know I call her Snake Sister, and that's just because she kind of has an attitude for her. And I don't want to not include her. And I feel like I'm kind of going around a lot with Cove, but the thing is, I don't want Cove to be alone. I'd rather go with Cove and not make him be alone than, like, go with Lizzie and Shiloh. Like, Lizzie and Shiloh are already going to do their own thing. As much as I would love to do the quiz, and I feel like that'd be fun, gameplay-wise, I also feel like maybe we'll still get the chance if I go with Cove. So I'm going to go with Cove.
I'd rather go exploring. Seriously?
Cove looked surprised, but happy at the same time. This was something you'd quietly admitted you were looking forward to, and you'd still picked his idea instead. Yeah.
Okay, fine, let's go, Shiloh.
Okay. Her arms folded, your sister stormed off. Shiloh had to race to keep up with her. I like how it was like, yeah, you were looking forward to this. What are you doing? In my head, I was just like, yeah, I kind of wish I was to go do that. I don't know. I'm the weirdo who, when I was playing through Amori the first time, and I got to like the quiz segment. No spoilers for those of you who haven't played the game, but you know. I was like, yes, I get to do math. And I was like going through the algebraic equations and stuff like that for the one kid's quest. And I was like, frick yeah. So, I don't know. This would have probably been easier than that, but still. Her arms folded, your sister stormed off. Shiloh had to race to keep up with her. May have already read that, but whatever. She cares a lot about that.
Uh-huh.
Shiloh looks like a chihuahua trying to keep up with a horse. You couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, no, that's funny. Since you've been here a lot before, we could play hide and seek. Since you've been here a lot before, we could play hide and seek.
Hide and seek? Not exploring?
Yep, if I'm searching for you and you're searching for me, we'll really have to look at everything. You weren't entirely sure how effective that would be, but couldn't say he was totally wrong. I'll hide first. Decision made, Cove took off toward the back of the library. I wonder if any of this stuff, like... Nah, it's probably just gibberish. I was wondering if it said anything. Is that Japanese? Asian caricatures? I can't tell. You'd already agreed to play with him instead, so you covered your face and waited for 10 seconds. When you looked up again, he was nowhere to be seen. You glanced over toward the way he went. Cove hadn't had much time to hide, but he was already invisible. The place you decided to check was... beside the fairy tale display, behind the solar system monitor... fairy tales. Near the older kids section, there was a display with a bunch of fancy-looking books. They were old copies of old stories. Grim fairy tales? Probably not in a kid's library. Leaning over the Hans Christian Andersen section, hand resting on the glass above where the Little Mermaid and Thumbelina books were, you peered into a tiny corner. Is it bad I have no clue who Hans Christian Andersen is? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to. And there was Cove, seemingly lost in thought. You waved to get his attention. I didn't think you'd find me so fast. Wow, I guessed right on the first try. Nice one.
Well, thanks.
He shrugged. It's just the truth.
Okay.
Your turn now. I'm gonna cover my eyes and count to 10. I promise I won't peek. While Cove had his eyes securely behind the palms of his hands, you went to go hide. By the fire awareness station, near the stuffed animals, under the giant piece of fruit, by the outlaw poster, in the fantasy section. In the fantasy section. Yeah, in the fantasy section. You decided to hide from Cove in the fantasy section. He never really mentions being interested in fantasy, so you had pretty good odds of hiding for a while there. If you didn't pay attention to it, or read it much, he might just glance over it. And you were right. Sort of. He left you waiting for a while, long enough that you eventually pushed yourself to your feet to stretch your legs. You won the round, but Cove wasn't even trying. Over the edge of a shelf, you saw him standing and staring at a bunch of books. You tapped him on the shoulder, and he spun around. Ugh! Sorry, I was gonna come find you soon.
It's alright. What's,
You gestured at the shelf full of books, and the one in his hand that had clearly been taking up all of his attention. Gosh, talk about... This guy probably has ADHD. Don't get me wrong, I have ADHD, so it's fine, but... They're the Narnia series. Good books. They have talking animals and a magic land and intense fights. And my mom used to read them with me. Feel a little bad now. Oh. Her favorite one was Susan. You weren't sure what to do. You weren't sure what he would do. His mom was always a sensitive topic. But he tucked the book back on the shelf, and that was all. It was nice the memories made him happy instead of sad this time.
Alright.
It's my turn again. Start counting so I can go pick a spot.
Okay.
Cove darted off before you even had a chance to fully close your eyes.
1 Mississippi.
When the time was up, he was long gone again. There were still a lot of good hiding places, so you figured he was... behind the Willy Wonka statue. He must be next to all the Willy Wonka statues, you thought, and you were right. Okay, is he just gonna be behind whatever I pick, or am I getting really lucky here? Cove was standing there, looking at them. You must have missed him in the crowd at first, but he wasn't really hiding at all. Oh, hey, these are creepy. The statues were made of brass, Lizzie had told you once. Apparently, they were all the kids that had gone to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Charlie Bucket, Augustus Gloop, Veruca Salt, and so on. I was gonna hide here, but they're too weird. Let's keep playing. I need to do good in at least one round. Put his hands over his eyes, but before you could run off again, a librarian approached the two of you.
Ah, kids, I've been looking for you.
It's a male librarian. Cove peeked between his fingers at the stranger.
Us? You must be Cove. Your dad told me he was waiting by the entrance.
Cove blinked, mouth opening like he was gonna say something, then glanced down at his pink cast. It was a pretty clear giveaway.
Sure.
Is my sister Lizzie with him? She's taller than us and has orange hair.
You're Aura, right?
You nodded.
Phew, I found both of you at once. That's right, she's with him, and the little guy with freckles. Come on, let's go get you reunited, so we can close up for the night.
Ready to go home, you and Cove followed him up front, where the ragtag group of family members and Shiloh were all waiting. Oh, they lost, didn't they?
There you are.
She was pouting. You could tell from all the way across the room. It was only that much more obvious as you got closer.
Did you win?
We came in second.
Hey, gang. I thought you'd have been with them the whole time, Cove. I'm glad you didn't just go off by yourself, at least.
Cove glanced over at you, then back up at his dad.
Yeah.
Me too.
A broad smile spread over Mr. Holden's face.
That's...
Even so, next time you should... Cove?
Cove's dad glanced around, slightly frantic, but Cove, just like always, had snuck off, without thinking to say anything. God, he's quick to leave.
He's leaving. Cove's trying to be the first one to the car.
With a sudden burst of speed, Lizzie darted for the exit, still in Victor to be mode. Even for something like a race to ride in the front seat. There was nothing else for the three of you to do, except head after them, pretending the librarians hadn't noticed all the commotion. Though Lizzie had been victorious in claiming a window seat in the car, you could tell by her crossed arms and occasional pout that she still had not forgiven your betrayal. Oh, bite me. Cove had sighed when he had to sit in the middle after Lizzie shot past him at the last second, but he cheered up some as you hopped in the back seat next to him.
Did you say you came in second place? That's some good going.
No.
No, it's not.
She levied another glare at you over her shoulder.
Sure. Striving to improve is good too. That makes Aura the winner in your family?
You wriggled in your seat, hiding a smile behind your hands.
What?
What?
Aura kept finding me in our game. I lost. We need a rematch.
Hide and seek with just you two. That doesn't even count as winning.
Why?
Why not?
It's not special. There's no judges or prizes.
You had the seat that she'd fought so hard to win. That wasn't much of a prize either.
Dad? Yes?
He could see Cove's dad's eyes in the rearview mirror, suddenly attentive at his son's call.
We need a prize.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Holden focused intently on the road ahead as though a suitable reward to please Cove might appear before him. He really loves his son.
Right, the big thing on the flyer for this was the chance to get a free pizza coupon, wasn't it? How about I call up a takeout place, and we can have pizza at home for dinner?
Lizzie huffed, pulling her arms closer to her chest.
Is Mom even gonna let you take a pizza from Mr. Holden?
We'll see. I'll ask her. I'll talk to all of your moms about this.
Pleased, you smiled as you stared out of the window at the scenery whizzing by.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Holden.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. You're welcome. I do what I can. But you really should have stuck with the group. The quiz would have been fun. That was the plan when I dropped you off. You stayed together, didn't leave the library. I'm glad for that, I am. Well, there's a lot of trouble you can get into even if you do have a buddy along for the ride. Just be careful next time. I worry about you, and I bet Aura's parents wouldn't want her to run off unexpectedly either. Okay, son?
Okay.
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 Isn't one of the moments called Runaway? So I feel like that's like leading up to something. Something quite depressing, mayhaps. I mean, not really. Kids run away all the time. They go like, hey, I'm gonna run away from home because you didn't get me dinner or something. And then, you know, that's normal, I guess. I mean, can't think of a kid who hasn't threatened that, probably. They're just trying to get their way, mostly. Or maybe there's a good reason for it. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't judge.
That's my boy. Now enough guff from your old dad. Let's decide what kind of toppings we're gonna get.
Cup's calling himself old, but the dude looks like he's maybe in his 20s or 30s.
Pepperoni.
Sounds good. Anything else?
And the conversation continued from there, with debates on what was best to put on a pizza for the rest of the drive. Mr. Holden wanted anchovies, and the other 3 kids in the car had to band together to explain how gross they were. The way Cove's dad laughed up in the front seat made you wonder if he was doing it on purpose. You'd had a fun day already, but closing it out with the promise of a free pizza, after all, and more time to hang out with Cove made it even sweeter. It was a shame that you hadn't been able to do the quiz, but skipping it for just 1 year didn't hurt. It was worth it. I have regrets. I regrets not doing the quiz. But I feel like if I didn't do it, and if I would have left Cove alone, he wouldn't have, yeah. Honestly, yeah, that was a short one. I don't know. I may do 3 if the next one's just as short as that one, because I don't want the videos to be too short. I'm trying to keep them around the 40 to 50 minute length, but yeah. We'll go and do the ghost one and see. I kind of wish I would have done the quiz. Whatever. Ghost. Oh, hey, look at that. I don't think outside our window we had that before. Like an actual display of the city. It's pretty big. Sorry, just admiring the room. I'm trying to take in the art style a bit more. I mean, I wonder if this was like hand-drawn or something like that. It kind of looks like it. That's really good job if it is. The night was incredibly still. You really couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room over. It was hard to believe how much of a blur today was. Summer sure did slip right past you. You flicked through the moments like pages in a scrapbook as you laid in bed. The ones that stuck out all seemed to include your new neighbor, Cove. It was funny how he had become such a big part of your life in such a short span of time. You thought a lot about what adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up to you. Then you heard something scrape against your window. It wasn't that uncommon for the wind to push a tree branch against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes. But the more you tried to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like something was trying to get your attention. You lifted your head off the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. You had to investigate the mysterious sound. It's too creepy to ignore.
Nah, we're going into this. I'm not skipping a cool moment. Even if this is just a little child getting scared of someone walking down a hallway, I want this. I deserve this. I gave up on a test for this. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to go outside. Your moms were still awake. They stayed up so late, it seemed. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but it didn't feel that way. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was exhilarating. Your chest was light. You couldn't keep the grin from your face. No one had permitted you to go out. In fact, no one even knew you were out. And yet, here you were. You wondered what else you could do. What other rules were so ingrained that you had never even considered that they could be broken? Oh, hey, Cove. I don't like that. Oh, I feel like decisions have consequences. That's fine. Let's make it interesting. Aura. You twitched at the sudden call, immediately calming down upon seeing Cove walking up to you. It was strange, and yet also completely normal to have him appear like this right now. He can sense me. He can sense me in the dark. What are you, you evil creature? What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either. Why not? Oh, that's me. You weren't sleeping either. Why not? Cove turned up his lips to smile, almost as if he were amused by the question. Because what? Because I wasn't. His tone was irritated now. That wasn't really fair, since he hadn't given you a proper answer the first time. Or the second, for that matter. Why aren't you sleeping? You weren't even in your house. Tempting as it was to turn his technique back on him, you decided to lead by example and show him what a real answer looked like. There was a strange noise coming from outside. I came to check it out. You heard it too? Cove hesitated for a moment, looking down the street, before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? A little. Me too. Feel better that you're here. Me too. The two of you delicately smiled at that. Cove even chuckled a bit. It was nice that you both felt the same way about things. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You were about to agree with him when the noise came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you rapidly looked around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that... Okay, you know what? Before I answer this music's a little too friendly. I'm gonna switch it up. Put on something a little spookier and ambient. Perfect.
It had to be a ghost.
Invisible, creepy things luring children from their beds. It had to be a monster. You were torn between the curiosity of discovering what the noise really was, and being scared enough to want to run straight home and hide under the bed covers. When you and Cove locked eyes, it was like speaking without words. Your mutual anxiety hadn't gone away entirely.
Hey, can you tell where it's coming from?
Not really.
Then we'll have to look more. Somewhere else. Maybe we'll see something.
Okay, let's go.
You clustered together as you walked the familiar streets of your neighborhood, drawing strength from each other's presence. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge, the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed, his eyes glistened in the dim light. You offered him your hand. You really wanted to be there for him, and wanted to show that. Your hand was left up for him to take. Cove's mouth opened wordlessly. There was a pause, but ultimately, he accepted the offer. His hand was really sweaty, but it didn't bother you. You were scared too, but being able to comfort Cove was the most important thing right now. Cove shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. Your fingers locked around each other even tighter.
Where did you, want to check?
The hills behind my house.
You and Cove ascended the hill, lit only by the stars in the night. The wind rippled through the grass and ruffled your hair, without the sun's light to translate what you were seeing. Every bush in the distance, bush, looked like a creepy figure or towering monster. The noise was just as loud here as it was in your neighborhood, with just as little indication behind the cause. We're gonna get jump scared by our parents being angry at us. But you kept going forward. You couldn't stop when you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. The top of the hill was an excellent vantage point. To survey the town from everything appeared normal. There was no out-of-place sight pinpointing the answer to this mystery, without visible markers to guide your way. Supposed it was up to you and Cove to deduce the source of the sound. The hill had many great hiding places, and you intended to check them all. You upturned rocks, peered behind trees, up trees, behind trees, around trees, and rummaged in the thick grass for anything that might bring some closure on all this. You stuck close to Cove as you hunted for the source of the noise. When the shrieking noise took and shook the air, seeing him beside you calmed your racing heart. Seeking to ease your nerves and put aside thoughts of what might be out on this dark, spooky night, you decided to strike up a conversation. Your search for a topic was more fruitful than your search for the noise. Your eyes fell on Cove's cast, and you were instantly inspired.
Have you broken any other bones?
No?
Oh,
It turned out that wasn't much of an engaging topic for him after all.
I broke my leg once.
He winced empathetically.
That sounds really bad.
I'm okay.
That put an end to your injury discussion, but Cove's calmer mood alleviated the bleak atmosphere like you hoped it would. Cove cast his eyes around, out to the darkness, feeling bolder.
Does this make you feel strange? We were people who heard weird noises at night and are out looking for what it is.
It's like we're at the start of a book or movie. We're the main characters.
Yeah.
It's a horror story.
Little did they know they were playing into the hands of the evil sea witch.
A sea witch?
She sleeps for 100 years at a time, waking, hungry for children.
Cove's lip wobbled.
I don't like that story.
You kept the tale going.
Good. Scared children taste the best.
No, that's not fair.
She's licking her scaly lips right now.
If you don't stop, I'll go home. You can fight her yourself.
Okay, she found something to eat in the fridge and fell asleep again.
How can a sea witch have a fridge? It would electrocute all the fish.
Didn't really happen. It was a story.
Cove simply huffed.
I still didn't like it.
Well, whatever the noise was, you were confident that you had established that it was not coming from the hill. Once you were satisfied nothing out of the ordinary was to be found on the hill, you had to consider your next step. I'm gonna check everything. I want to get the most out of this story. You figured you'd check the park too. The private playground was as empty as ever. You could just about hear the mysterious sound if you were quiet, but it had simmered down to a whisper. Cove was practically shaking when he realized it had progressed far enough to reach there. He swallowed hard, but faced you with a determined face.
My dad says, good detective work starts at home. He watches a lot of crime shows, so maybe it'd be good to look closely.
Okay.
The two of you swept through every corridor of the park. No monkey bar, swing, or tire went unchecked. You even checked the jungle.
Huh?
He was squatting on the ground, squinting at something in his hand. Intrigued, you checked over his shoulder so you could see too. Cove held it in his open pod. Coiled inside was a link of sparkly chain, grains of sand embedded in the fine links. Lifting it up, it became apparent how this had come to be here. You'd seen bracelets and necklaces, enough to recognize that the clasp which held it together had snapped.
It's broken.
It's silver. Werewolves hate silver. Other things too, I think. If this noise is caused by a monster.
We can protect ourselves with it.
Yeah!
He flicked the chain, as if cracking a tiny whip.
I wonder if there's anything else we could use it out here.
Cove considered this, frowning.
I should have grabbed some garlic before I left.
His frown evolved into a scowl.
It probably wouldn't have worked. Dad doesn't have a real garlic. He gets
fake garlic?
It's little flakes in a jar. Not real balls you have to cut up like Mom uses.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little bit of garlic powder.
Flakes might be easier to use. We could sprinkle them around as we walked.
I guess.
From his begrudging tone, you could tell that he was still firmly on the side of fresh garlic. You had exhausted all the possible places to search in the park. Straightening up, you mused over your next step.
It's gone.
What?
Then you realized it. The noise, which had grown fainter and less frequent during your search, had died off completely. You and Cove shared puzzled looks, but neither of you had an answer for what had caused the mysterious sound or made it go away. You tried to hide a yawn behind your hands.
We should go back home.
The night was still as you walked home, with none of the usual background noises or the eerie whistle from before. You could hear every step you and Cove made like a cough in a movie theater. The two of you came to a halt outside your front door. Never before had it looked so ominous. You wrung your hands nervously. Would your absence had been noticed?
Do you sneak out a lot?
This is my first time.
Yeah,
I've never tried to do it till now.
thought so.
How did you know?
I hadn't seen you out of my window this late before.
That was fair, though it could have been possible we were just so good at sneaking that this was the first time he had caught you.
Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
No.
He was so forthright that you believed him completely.
But your dad, won't he get mad or sad if he catches you?
He's never happy with what I do.
Oh?
I didn't know how to react to that. Not knowing how to respond, you went back to staring at your front door.
Alright, I'm going in.
Bye.
Okay, good night.
Good night, Cove. Thanks for coming with me tonight. I'm not sure I could have done it by myself.
I wanted to go with you.
You beamed at him. You turned the doorknob as slowly as a clock's minute hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, and nudged it open. When all that happened was the door opening rather than blaring alarms that you'd feared, you melted with relief. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weirder still, it looked like they were on the same show as they were watching before you left, yet you were positive you'd been out investigating for hours. Perhaps you could use their distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, you'd be safe from suspicion. But how could you get there? Tried to sneak past. You hugged the wall as you creeped delicately around the perimeter of the room. It was a valiant effort that any spy would have been proud of, right up until the moment when you tripped over a power cord and nearly fell over. Aura? You might not have fallen, but your accident ruined your cover. You had been spotted. They abandoned the couch and their show to hurry over. They were still in a state of surprise. You weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
What are you doing down here, sweetie?
Oh, that's Mommy.
What are you doing down here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream?
You told the truth.
I went out to find what was causing a noise.
Time seemed to drag as the color drained from your mom's faces.
Huh?
Out where? Out of your bedroom. That's what you mean, right? You pointed to the front door, confirming their worst fears. Mommy remained frozen in shock, while Mom launched into lecturing mode. Aura Brogard! It is not safe to be out at this time of night by yourself. If something was wrong, you should have come to us. I thought you knew better than that. I trusted you to know better than that. Anything could have happened to you.
If we don't know where you are, it's a lot harder to keep you safe.
Her voice was soft, yet it still cut deep. You pawed at the ground with your feet. What they were saying made sense.
It was scary. I don't like being scared. I just wanted to see what was there.
Sweetie.
Honey,
Mommy wrapped her arms around you, cradling the back of your head. You clung to her. You're brave for facing your fears, but when you need to be smart too. It was scary because it might possibly have been something dangerous, right? That kind of worry is something you should tell us about.
Okay.
Mom shook her head with a sigh of relief. Let's get you back in bed where you belong. Right, we'll have a talk about this in the morning. You pulled a face at that, but didn't protest. All things considered, they could have been much harder on you. Once your moms had left, you turned over the night's adventure in your mind. It was still hard to believe that you'd really done it. Sure, you were going to get a talking to tomorrow, but it had been a night that you'd never forget, for better and worse. You hoped the Cove had gotten home okay. Though, he hadn't been worried. Being told off was never fun. Wriggling down deeper underneath the sheets, your thoughts turned to the unsolved mystery. You and Cove had only just begun to scratch the surface of it. Maybe you solved it, and maybe you'd solve it, and maybe you wouldn't. But what mattered was that you shared the experience with each other. You were still so energized by the night's excitement that you tossed and turned in the bed for some time, thinking up theories to share with Cove when you saw him next. Sleep eventually claimed you, but the adventure merely resumed in your dreams. In the morning, the lecture continued, but ultimately, your moms let you off with a warning. It had been pretty unusual circumstances, after all. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escapade either. It was unclear whether that was because his dad had chose not to punish him, or if Cove had gotten away with it. As for the sounds that started this, all the adults were around were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. For your imaginative mind, that wasn't nearly enough. How could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it'd make more sense when you were grown up too. Alrighty. I think that one was long enough. That one I enjoyed a bit more. I was actually really excited for that one, so Here's the deal. I don't want to kind of just do sleepover by I don't want to do sleepover by itself. And I've been trying to do 2 at a time. So what we are going to do is I'm going to do barbecue, runaway, and sleepover in one long extended episode. If it ends up being a bit too long, I may cut it and do it to where sleepover is its own part. I don't know how long runaway and barbecue are going to be, so we'll see. If it's like library, then it should be fine. But yeah, for now, I just hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and for right now, I am going to close the door on this one.